How do you live on nothing? For some, this is not a choice. They explore this idea because they have to. My being in this situation is different. I am here of my own volition. I wanted to be a starving artist. Within my many degrees, I have studied the great artists of history, and the starving artist seems to have a view on society that I envied. It was always the starving artist whose work lasted the longest, who had the deepest impact across eras. I sought this for my work above comfort or security or provision. I trusted that in a modern era, it would be hard to die from being a starving artist. And in fact, that is an extremely true statement I have come to find. There is so much overflowing materialism in our modern culture that it is hard to starve. Literally. I've never gone hungry a day in my life, except by my own choice when I was fasting for spiritual reasons and to hasten epiphanies in my art. But I have fasted materially for many years and continue to. It has now become so ingrained within my being that it is an artwork in and of itself. The burning away of what I am not, the dross. How far can I explore what I don't need? How much can I renounce of this world? And what revelations will it reveal as these things fall away from me? There are ways to shortcut. Into starving artistdom. You just know how to find the hack. A guide is nice. I will happily guide you through my own journey. Of starving for my art. Living on nothing. And the abundance that I have found in doing so. For one, living on nothing is a mindset. Because wealth is relative. Depending on where you are or who you're with. But living on nothing is a mindset. If you are inundated with all that you can buy, have, desire, if you're tied into what other people have and are seeking to attain, living on little to nothing becomes very difficult. The key is detaching from the greed inherited in a capitalist system. Now, starving is a figurative word or metaphorical idea when it comes to my life. I have found it very difficult to literally starve in this modern era that is so overflowing with materialism that even escaping stuff is a difficult task. The only time I have literally starved is when I have chosen to do so for spiritual purposes through fasts where I hasten a revelation in my artwork. How do you live on nothing? What is nothing? I keep hearing it said that our society, even the poorest of us, live as kings compared to the rest of the world. Perhaps that is true, but when we compare ourselves to each other and we see so much more royalty than ourselves, it certainly doesn't feel like it. The key is detaching from assumptions. Assumptions that just because you hear something, because someone said it, because it was on a radio, because it was on a television, because a medical professional told you, because somebody said they wanted it. Assuming anything is dangerous in our society. I have found that most of thought currency is an advertisement or marketing for somebody's idea that has a natural flow and then ebb. Every object you hold is just someone's idea. Some ideas are particularly more useful or aesthetic than others, but they're all just ideas. What is really worthwhile? And how do you measure it? I have found that by renouncing everything so that I may find my abundance in my art, I found the key to abundance. And it is mindset. I am highly degreed. I received my MFA from the University of Georgia in Athens in the performing arts. I have a Bachelor of the Arts in filmmaking and theater. I am a performing artist. I chose the discipline of theater because it contained all of the artistic disciplines within it, performing and visual and other. There's music and dance and art, all contained within drama. And in my study of great artists throughout history, I have become particularly fascinated with the starving artist. That rare individual who oftentimes comes from a wealthy family, but has chosen to renounce said wealth for their art. There is passion and romance with a tinge of tragedy also. but their artwork tends to contain such a longevity as compared to other artists who ride trends and whose work rises and falls within much shorter time periods. I thought an art that far surpassed my lifetime and perhaps fed my grandchildren is more wealth than several decades or even a lifetime of wealth for myself. I also envied, probably more than anything, more than wanting the longevity of work or the inheritance for my future family, the detachment from society and the bird's eye view it gave them. This bird's eye view of society was then transmuted into deep, meaningful themes and motifs that resonated out into the culture and changed it. The person more detached from society had more power to change society than those within it. And I have found that to be true. In my travels throughout the world, in my travels throughout my world, I speak things that seem foreign to other people, and then I see them mirrored back to me as they ripple out until years, decades later, entire sectors are transmuted. Not necessarily in a way that I may have thought or wished or hoped or liked, but changed nonetheless. The most surprising result of all of this is the abundance that I have found. And I'm just not speaking of the material overflow that happens because we are a highly materialistic society. And just the amount of clutter created falls into my hands because everyone feels sorry for the starving artist. I have more clothes, books, and everything I might need. Out of a pity imposed on me from other people. As I detach from society, I don't want the things that other people have. I don't listen to the commercials that tell me what I need. So when things are gifted to me, they are a pleasant surprise if they fit into my life. But more than that has been the revelation that when I pursue my artwork, I necessarily require things to make it happen. And these things present themselves to me almost as if I thought them up, which seems to be much more reflective of true abundance than a pot full of money. So how does one live on nothing? And what is nothing that you could live on for a day, a week, a month, a year? What is the budget? How much would you spend on groceries? what choices would you make? Would you choose the cheapest? I found the people who choose the cheapest option are the ones that are on a downward spiral into poverty. And while I may be a starving artist, poverty is not where I live. I live in freedom. I'm allowed to move around in society. I am not trapped. Nor is my financial situation my prison. Value. And how do you find it? Outside of the post office, there were 3 huge dumpsters for recycling. One was for paper, one was for boxes, and one was for magazines. It was a full-size dumpster, stocked to the brim. When I looked inside the window, I saw French Vogue, all the fashion magazines, home decorating magazines. I would find myself after hours climbing up to the top, upside down, hanging in, and coming out with hundreds of dollars of magazines. Food. Eating in is mandatory. Drinks. Shall I say? I'll just say flask. Car. Gifted from others.